when it comes to the internet, when it comes to the quote unquote dirt sheets, they grab headlines. And, coming off of November 16th, there was a headline that was everywhere on the internet, and it's misleading, to say the least. So, sir, first of all, we wanted to give you the opportunity here on Busted Open to kind of tell the true story of what's going on right now. So if I may ask, what happened on the evening of November 16th?
This is the best part. Absolutely nothing. So what happens is I was in, I'm in the program of the DUI Cobb County Accountability Court. And that is the title of this place. It's the DUI Cobb County Accountability Court. And that's what they are. Previous times before now, while in the program, they have very, very serious rules. We had a very strenuous schedule we got to keep. And I mean, from how many 2 AA meetings a week, it's a felony now if you lie on AA sheets. They just have really, recovery and sobriety. Every time a newcomer comes in, I say, look, man, you may want to look about going to jail instead of coming into the DUI court program, because I think it's possibly easier unless you truly want to get sober. If you really want to get sober, you're in the right place. But if you're not, if you're thinking, hey, man, I'm just going to get this thing behind me and I want to continue drinking and doing my thing, you're not in the right place. I tell every newcomer that. And at first, the therapists and the counselors didn't like me saying that because they felt like it was being negative. But now they make me say that to the new people because it's the truth. With that idea in your head, how tough this course is, the minimum distance of time is 15 months to complete it. I know several people that's been in there 3+ years. It's 5 phases to graduate it. I'm in phase 3. But early on, I had an argument with one of the counselors. I had ran over a curb at the local little Texaco, but it needed to be towed. And I have a bad knee, and I hadn't had my knee replacement surgery yet, so I'm hobbling around, and it was like a block away. So we had to hurry not to be late. And then I asked the counselor, hey, man, can I give Reese, the guy with a better wheel, better leg, can I get him to run my keys down to the tow truck place? He said, no problem. Long story short, there was a conversation that went on about it, and I went to jail for arguing or disrupting the class for 24 hours. I couldn't believe it. I said, what? So knowing that, I'm back to the grindstone. I'm sober. I'm doing recovery. I got to do this DUI court program. Well, about a month later, I did a paperwork on my flight, and it was Atlanta to Des Moines, Dallas, San Antonio, Atlanta. So there was a leg in between my 2 shows. On the paperwork of the DUI court program, there wasn't a place for a middle flight, and they're very particular with the way you do things. So I give them the outbound, and I give them the return, and they okay the travel. When I get home, they go, hey, how did you get home from San Antonio? And I said, no, they said, how did you get from Des Moines to San Antonio? And I said, I flew. What do you mean? And they go, why didn't you list it? I said, there wasn't any room to list it. And they go, well, we need to know. And I go, okay, from now on, I'll let you guys know. I didn't know that there was no room on the paperwork. 24 hours in jail for not doing the right paperwork. So it's a real strenuous thing. And of course, this now I've got heat with them. I'm on the radar. I did jail for both of those. It's important for us to know that on both of those, this same thing happened. They post your original arrest. So 3+ years ago, I was arrested for a DUI, reckless driving, whatever. But on 11/16 and those other ones, the only thing that's correct about 11/16 is that's the day that I went to court and to jail. So my court date was 11/16 at 1:30, And I didn't know I was going to jail. I thought I may, but I wasn't sure. I was hoping I wouldn't. And so I went to jail. And then this Georgia Gazette again, but for some reason they've gotten better with posting. So I guess people noticed this one more. They posted, Buff Bagwell arrested for drunk driving. And they're not allowed to do that. But the other two attorneys I've got to check on this have came up empty. Now I got a guy that's telling me that's defamation of character, which we all know that, but I can't believe I couldn't do nothing about it. Now I'm researching it. So long story short, I was arrested for disrupting the class is what's on my paperwork. I think Dallas sent you guys, or if you have it, I got it with me if you want to see it, but it says Marcus Bagwell 24 hours for disrupting the class on November 8th. So it was a November 8th class. I went to jail for November 8th, disrupting the class.
Okay, so I want to ask this first. Dave, what did the dirt sheet headlines run with?
That Buff Bagwell arrested for DUI.
Okay. Buff, me and Dreamer are the boys. You know that. We all know you. Dave created this show 15 years ago, and it's the biggest pro wrestling radio show on the planet. DDP is a friend of the show. Asked for this time for you. Me and Dreamer like you. We've always had good interactions with you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you flat out. The story you just told us is the God's given truth. No bullshit, no working, because we're giving you time on this show to tell your story. If God forbid one day what you're telling us, is a flat out lie, we have egg on our face. So I'm just asking you straight up, brother, as I would in a locker room. What you're telling us is 1,000% accurate.
Is there any way that I can send something to y'all instead of me showing it, or?
Nope.
I'd like to do that.
All I want is your word. All I want is your word that what you're telling us is accurate.
But let's be the boys for real.
Yeah.
This is hard to believe. I mean, when I see that picture and it says DUI, it's hard for me to believe. But to answer your question, 100% of the story being this is the third time it's happened to me. One for disrupting the class over my car getting towed. 2 over not doing the right paperwork. This is the third time this exact same thing's happened. For some reason, this time it got traction and it was all over the world.
Well, I've seen Buff in really, really bad places. I've seen him within the last 6 months, and I can tell a lot when people are messed up. He's been 100% fine. So if I have to validate him, I could hear it when he speaks. I could see it in his eyes. I could see it in his body movements. Another thing, and Dave and Bubba, you know this, DDP would kick him the fuck out in a heartbeat. And DDP would give him the biggest reel cutter because he did it to some of his friends when he didn't want to. Because DDP goes above and beyond to help people. But when you keep disrespecting him, he'll give you certain chances. But then towards the end, he's like, I can't help you. So from my experiences being around Buff recently, and your sobriety's been now 4 years?
No, God,
okay.
no. 15 months.
Well, I've been around him, I think, twice within those 15, and 100% normal and not. So I'm validating what he's saying from what I saw when I was with him, and also being around environments where alcohol, drugs are prevalent. So I'll say that for Buff, but also we'll say that for DDP. And it does suck because you do get lumped into something, and hopefully you look at, you're able to clear your name in a long time from now, but it's going to take a process.
Let's talk about what you just said, Tommy, and that's where I'm at is at this junction, you got 2 ways to go. I can't believe nobody believes me. What am I got to do to prove it? You got to be kidding. This is my fault. And that's what the DUI court is very good at understanding and helping us with is this is all my fault. So this ain't about, I can't believe Georgia Gazette. I'm going to follow through with it to find out why they're posting something that's trying to drill me. A newspaper don't sell. Buff Bagwell disrupts class. That don't sell. Buff Bagwell DUI, that sells. So I get it. And it's my fault. So I got no problem with that. Now it's about, like you said, cleaning my name up. It's not the first time that Buff's tried to do that. So again, it's like the little boy that cried wolf. But I'm coming in this one so much more clear-minded and so much more help with Dallas and so many more names involved of things that keep me, excited. And plus, and the main thing about being excited about this is I have got to be excited, and I am. I dig sobriety. I like me, and I had not known that for 20 years. I have reintroduced myself to myself, and I like me again, and that's a big deal. I didn't know that was a big deal, but I've learned a lot with this, having to process this sober. I've never done that, brother. I go to my pouch and get a Xanax if there was a problem the last 20 plus years. That was my processing. And that was okay, I told myself. And I stayed sedated for 20 years, bro. I didn't lose 20, but I was screwed up through all of it, a little bit or a lot. And that's sad. And I'm so happy now to be able to go through life at 53 and not to do that again. I'm just very excited about it. But the processing is different. The last hurdle I feel I'm having is my temper. I've got a horrible, horrible temper. I always have. But used to, I could fix it with we call them true serums, which is somas or Xanaxes, and calm down from that. Well, now having to process it and breathe. And Dallas has taught me how to breathe. He's a big breather, and I believe in it. There's facts behind breathing, all the deal, all the stuff. And so processing in a different way besides going straight for a pill.
Buff, when did the dark side of the business start to get the better of you? And did you medicate because of pain, or you were looking to have a good time?
I never medicated for pain. I told myself it was for a broke neck to make excuses. I think addicts do that to make it okay. Like, hey, I got a broke neck. I'm this medicine I'm supposed to have. That's how it started. And then you do know that I'm doing this just to party. But when I look back on it, brother, I was already in addiction, but there was a leash on me with the wrestling business, a good leash. So I think when it started was when the WWE released me. When they released me, and I said that wrong. When the WWF released me. When they released me, is no doubt about it. When that leash, I didn't know it at the time. When that leash was gone, brother, and there was no reason to stay sober, I had a 3-day party, and I juggled it. Me and my partner would juggle it around our workout. We rewarded ourselves from a workout. We were in incredible shape, and we told ourselves again that it was okay for after our workout to have some somas and drink alcohol, and that ended up being a 20-year sedation.
Wow.
It's hearing this. First of all, congratulations to you for being bold enough to say, hey, I have a problem. I have an issue. I need to take accountability, because I think that's always going to be the biggest hurdle that any addict has to have. Because I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When DDP first brought this up, I wasn't sure, because like Bully said, it's not even just the name of this show. It's more about how we feel about, and we've seen it lately with drunk driving and people have lost their lives, and we obviously don't want that. So we wanted to make sure, and having somebody like DDP and that credibility behind you, I mean, really helped in making this happen. But we figured it was important enough for you to have this forum, because I would think that could hurt your progression as far as your recovery when these things are coming out, when the media is attacking you, when for the last 15 months you have been clean and sober. I'm sure on that day when you saw that headline, that had to hurt, knowing all the work that you put in.
It really did, but keep in mind, again, it's my third time that's happened where I got in trouble in class. And the first couple, it was just a minor little smoke and fire, that little spark. This time it really caught flame. It caught fire this time. But yes, it did. I mean, my reaction, to be honest, the first time I felt like where people go, they had a trigger or a reason to use, the night that I had the argument with my teacher, my therapist, I turned to her and asked her a foot away. There's a process you got to do with step 1 and phase 3. And it's, you go up and present in front of the class with your eyes closed. And there's 5 things to do. After you try a couple of times, she allows you to come back to finish whatever you didn't complete. Well, the last piece of it is this testimony. And that's all I had to present that night. But the guy that goes in front of me failed for not reading the 2 boxes out of the book on page 40. So when I go up there, I said, Miss Faye, Roderick just failed for not reading the boxes. You told me testimony only. What am I to do? She goes, testimony only. So I take my glasses off to read the boxes. I put the book down. I stand up, close my eyes, start with the testimony. She said, stop. And I said, what? She goes, you didn't read the 2 boxes. I came unglued. I go, I just asked you that. In that voice. But I said, Miss Faye. I go, Miss Faye, I just asked you that. I said, are you kidding me? And to keep in mind, this is the 3rd time I failed. I said a cuss word and failed. I didn't say due to my bad behavior and failed. And now I'm failing after asking her specifically what to do. I came unglued, but I'm glad because it gave me the final piece. Even though I wasn't wrong, it gave me the final piece to know that my temper is out of control. I could have handled that so much better and probably not gone to jail. And no, definitely not going to jail and not have to be on here defending my name again. So again, it's my fault, 100%. I could have handled that differently. Now, at first I was like, I'm not wrong. I didn't cuss. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong about this. I'm going to jail for nothing. That's not true. I could have handled it differently.